Hey guys, welcome to my YouTube channel, and this is my first ever YouTube video, so yeah. Anyways, I'm making this YouTube video so that I can address the Instagram poll that I made a couple of weeks ago. Those of you guys who don't know, this is the poll right here. I made a poll with about 4 different topics asking what you guys want to see. I ended up getting a bunch of DMs telling me that I should address all the topics because they could all be super beneficial for everybody. So that's why I'm making this YouTube video, and that's honestly why I made a YouTube in the first place. It was supposed to be something that was super quick and easy, and it was supposed to be a really quick video, like less than 10 minutes, but since I'm going to be addressing all the topics, I figured that I might as well just make like a YouTube channel. I don't know if this will be something super popular, but if it's gonna be longer than 10 minutes, then why not just make it a YouTube video, you know? And if you guys see me looking down a lot, it's because I have all of my notes and my bullet points pretty much on my iPad so that I can give you guys as much explanation and information as possible. And also so I don't forget anything. Well, I'm going to get into the questions, but first I'm going to provide a quick backstory, and I just want to explain to you guys how I started my fitness journey in the first place and why I ended up staying super consistent. I'm going to start with my backstory, like I said first, because this is where it all began. This is why everything started. So yeah, and I also want to provide a little introduction of myself because I feel like it's only right. But for those of you guys who don't know, my name is Tatiana Perez. Then I always get a bunch of messages just asking me like, I thought your name was Tati, or I thought your name was Malu, all this other stuff. I do have like a mixture of like both names, like I think everywhere on like my social media. I put my Instagram names or like all of my social media names as Malu Perez because my middle name is Maluhia. My mom is Hawaiian, from Hawaii, and my dad is full Puerto Rican, so that's where the Tatiana Perez comes from. Just so I can clear that up. And I am from Vineland, New Jersey. I currently live in Hawaii because I'm in the military and I'm stationed here. That's pretty much just a whole introduction. So, all right, now to the real deal. I feel like this is what everybody has been waiting for, which is like the whole fitness journey, the inspiration behind all of it, and where I started off and where I come from. I do want to put a small disclaimer in here. I don't want to like offend or trigger anybody when I'm talking about my story, only because some of it could be a little bit difficult to hear about if you've gone through something like this personally. And also, I'm not trying to be some sort of doctor, and I'm definitely not like a scientist or professional when I'm talking about all this stuff. This is just coming from my personal experience and what I've been through. So I just want to put that out there just in case if any of this gets taken the wrong way or anything like that. I want to be as genuine and as transparent with you guys as possible. So I definitely want to give you guys like the real story and everything that played out like 100%. All right, so my fitness journey initially started, I want to say in 2018, which I used to live in North Carolina. That's not important right now, but it will be important later on. I used to live in North Carolina. I ended up moving back home to Vineland, New Jersey, and I ended up graduating there. I live with my grandparents, so that's also pretty important information. Around that time, I was a senior in high school, and I was just extremely overweight, guys, which I'm going to provide pictures and like maybe some videos, but I always get comments saying that, oh my gosh, like you looked completely fine. Like you don't look overweight, you don't look fat, you don't look this or that or whatever. Like I just felt super unhealthy and I wasn't happy with my body or my lifestyle at the time. And it just started getting worse and worse by like my senior year. I was honestly super heavy for my frame. I wasn't working out at all. I was drinking like a bunch of sodas and juices, eating processed foods all the time. For reference, my height is 5'4", like I'm 5'4". I was only 18 years old at the time, and I weighed like between 170 and 175, which is, for me, I felt like that was just really heavy because at that rate that I was going, if I still continued to live that lifestyle to now, it just probably would have turned into something way worse. So I was borderline obese at that time. Like I said, I just didn't feel healthy in my skin or confident. So we're gonna fast forward to like late 2018, early 2019. I was dating somebody, which I told you guys I'm gonna be super transparent, and I ended up going through a very bad breakup, which it sounds so silly and stupid to talk about right now because I was a teenager and I was in high school, and like, you know how they say when you go through a breakup, like going through a breakup is the best diet? Like, I don't know if y'all ever heard that. Yeah, that's pretty much what happened. I went through this breakup with this guy and I ended up becoming super depressed. I literally stopped eating. Yeah, I'm pretty sure y'all can already figure out how I lost a bunch of weight, but I would honestly only eat like once a day, which is insane to think about now, but I only ate once a day, and it would be something like pineapples or like raw bell peppers, you know? I'm losing rapid weight, like super quick, and it just wasn't healthy. Like, I ended up losing a bunch of hair. I lost a lot of color in my skin. I looked super sick, and I had no muscle in my body like whatsoever. Like, I was just losing like a bunch of weight. It completely like flipped my habits, but like in the worst way. That was 2019, early 2019, maybe like super late 2018. So yeah, little did I know like my health was like going downhill. I ended up seeing the results super fast. Like, I was losing a bunch of weight and I was getting super skinny, and I ended up becoming like almost like obsessed with that. I saw how skinny I was, and it didn't register in my head that like, oh my God, you look sick. To me, that was like, oh my gosh, this is like the smallest I've ever been. So like, I'm falling in love with just like losing weight. I remember one day I was in college in New Jersey, and I remember my brother was also living like with me and my grandparents for like a little bit too. And I got home from school and it was like cold outside. It was like, I want to say like fall or winter. So I had like a jacket and like some jeans on and like a pair of sneakers. He sees me walk in the house and he's like, oh my gosh, like you look so skinny, like you look sick. And I didn't really like believe him, but he was actually being like super serious, and he was like, let's get on the scale. Like, I want to see how much you weigh. Like, this is ridiculous. Like, you look crazy. And so I'm like, all right, like let's go. And we did have a scale in the house. Mind you, the clothing that I'm wearing, like I had a jacket on, I had some jeans on and some sneakers. So it's important because we got on the scale. The weight that was on the scale, which like I will never forget it, because this kind of just like changed like my mind about everything and like how I was living. But the weight that was on the scale was 122. If you can just imagine that, like I'm fully clothed, like I'm wearing sneakers and stuff like that, and I'm down to like 122. If I didn't have any of that on, like if I didn't have like my sneakers or like my jacket or like my jeans on, like imagine how much I really would have been. So that was kind of like a reality check for me, because I went from like 175 all the way down to like 120 pretty much, which is a huge chunk of weight in just such a short amount of time. But just the fact that like I was just starving myself and not eating, it just was not good. After that, that's how I ended up going to the gym and really getting serious about fitness and just like my health. So there's these two people that influenced me the most in just going to the gym and just becoming healthy. One of them is one of my cousins from back home. He pretty much got me into the gym because he was also like a big gym rat himself. And another person was my long distance best friend from North Carolina, and she still is my best friend. She also was starting her fitness journey with me, and she also was more or less going through like the same kind of stuff as I was at that time. The only thing that was different with her situation was that she was gaining a lot of weight and not losing a lot of weight. So I wanted to gain weight, she wanted to lose weight. So we ended up getting in the gym together at that time. It sounds a little crazy because this is a long distance friendship that we had, but it's so weird like how we just went through the same stuff together. We FaceTimed all the time, even when we went to the gym. Like, we just held each other accountable. And my cousin, he ended up showing me the importance of just lifting weights and gaining muscle that way. So that's pretty much how I started. He introduced me to that lifestyle, and then I ended up just becoming obsessed with it. So with that being said, I started going to the gym like with my cousin, and then I also was going by myself as well. But I started gaining weight, and I realized that it was because I was gaining muscle. and my body looked different from like when I gained weight from before, like when I was gaining weight, because I was gaining fat instead of gaining muscle. That's pretty much why it started. Like I just noticed like my legs started to get big and my glutes started to grow so much, and I just kind of went crazy after that. That's pretty much how I started my entire like fitness journey and my whole transformation. So we're gonna fast forward to October of 2019. This is pretty much what I look like. I was still pretty skinny, but that's gonna come with time, you know, like just gaining the weight and stuff. October of 2019, that's when I enlisted in the military. I decided to go like the summer of 2019. Like I decided that I wanted to join. So when I went to MEPS and stuff like that, and like they weighed me, I ended up being like 140 pounds, or even like 130, like 7-ish. I weighed like 120 in the beginning of 2019, and so late 2019 I ended up gaining like around 20 pounds, and that was just because like I was working out and I was just eating like high protein meals and stuff like that. But the weight was just distributed differently. Like I didn't have a lot of fat on me. I had a lot of muscle, and by the time that I shipped out to boot camp, which was like May of 2020, I still had like more or less the same weight. It was just like between 140 and 145. I only put on a little bit more pounds, but I was still working out consistently. I stayed in the gym ever since then. Now, 5 years later, it's 2025. I still fluctuate between 140 and 145. If I'm lifting super heavy though, I can definitely get up to like 150. I think I graduated boot camp being like 153. And then by the time like I got to like my first duty station, I went back down to like 140. So my metabolism definitely is already set now, and my body, I'm pretty sure that's just like the norm for my body weight, because I think even right now I'm like 145. I feel so much better now, physically and mentally. All right, so that's pretty much a wrap on my backstory. Now we're gonna get into what you guys really are here for, and that is the poll that I posted, which is right here again. I'm just going to touch base on every single topic that I posted and give you guys a short and sweet an answer for everything. I also want to put out one more time before I continue, I am not by any means, I am not certified like doctor, I'm not a nutritionist, I'm not a scientist, I'm not someone that can definitely like diagnose something or anything like that. 100% just what I went through and how I ended up losing weight and what I do to maintain now. The first topic is what were my exact workouts and what I ate. What I did when I first started, okay, I'm just gonna like just be straightforward. When I first started working out, I only did glutes. This is something that every woman is super guilty of doing, even myself. I only did glutes, lower body, all that stuff. I barely ever did upper body. I honestly, if I'm being honest, I never did, unless if it was like a core workout or something like that. I didn't lift at all, like upper body. I didn't do back and bite, nothing. Like I only did glutes. I'm gonna put that out there. That's not what I do now. When I first started to work out, I only wanted to tone like my glutes and my thighs and tone like my stomach. Like I really wanted abs. I did nonstop like core workouts and nonstop glutes. The workouts that I loved doing, which I don't even do like half of them honestly anymore, are barbell squats. I don't even do barbell squats anymore. I did hip thrusts. I didn't do them as much as I do now, and I probably had my form all wrong, but I did do hip thrusts, and I used the hip abduction machine all the time. And I also did like a bunch of core workouts. I did crunches, sit-ups, planks, stuff like that. When it came to like the sit-ups and the crunches, I did 100 every day. I don't know why. Even if I didn't go to the gym, I would just go to my room back home and I would just do like 100 sit-ups before I went to bed every day. Like, why? Okay. Usually trained legs and glutes every single day. And then I would have a day for either like full body HIIT or something like that, or just cardio. Either like incline walking or just going for like a run on the track, pretty much. As for eating, I always kept it pretty simple. So I always had protein with every meal. I lived with my grandparents at the time and they were always cooking food. So I never really had to prepare food for myself. They always just made sure that like they made dinner. I grew up in a Puerto Rican household, so that just required me to be eating like rice and beans every single day. My grandparents made rice and beans and a different kind of meat. So I would always usually have like some chicken, or I would have rice and beans with steak or fish. I also would eat like fruits and vegetables still. My grandparents always had fruit in the house. One thing that I didn't start off eating all the time or just consuming was just protein shakes or yogurt bowls and like oatmeal and stuff like that. But protein shakes was not a part of my diet at all. I usually ate like just whole foods. I would always make sure to eat that in moderation at that point because I already knew what it was like to just be bigger and heavier. So I didn't want to let myself go or ruin my progress. And then by that time too, I only stuck with drinking water. I would make sure that I drank at least like 6 bottles of water a day. No sodas, no juices, like just water. And then I'll also get into the specific foods that I eat now currently and that I prepare for myself later in the video to another poll topic that I have. All right, the second topic that I posted was how I stayed motivated. What is my specific gym routine, or what was? My biggest motivator was seeing my body change from like start to finish. I always took pictures of myself. I would look at myself in the mirror a lot just to like see if I could notice anything new happening to my body, and also being around people that love to work out too. I also want to mention right before I went to like my first command, I had a really great friend. She was a higher rank than me. I was still like an E nothing at the time, and she ended up inviting me to the gym with her, and she was the one that inspired me the most to start lifting weights. She ended up putting me on to a bunch of workouts that I've heard of, but I never really tried for myself. And when I tell you, that was when I seriously started seeing the most results. The muscle growth on my body, it was crazy. It was honestly like night and day. And I felt super sore after, but it was just because I was lifting so heavy with her. And even to this day, like I still use the workouts that she put me on to, and I still talk to her even now. And like, she was the true motivator. After working out with her, like I said, like I started to see results really fast. And I still do those workouts today. And it's 2025. I started those workouts back in 2021. So that says a lot. Taking pictures every few weeks and even months helped me stay on track the most. And I honestly just wanted to distract myself as well. Like, that was also something that was motivational for me, was just the fact that like I could just be in my own peace, and it's something that's healthy. It's something that's benefiting me. So yeah. All right, so this was my gym routine. Monday through the weekend, okay? Mondays was like glutes and hamstrings, which do not judge me because this is something that like I improved on a lot. So Monday was like glutes and hamstrings. Tuesdays was like glutes and like maybe some core. Wednesday was like a rest or like maybe like some light cardio. Thursday was quads and glutes. Friday was like maybe some upper body, and then like finish with like a glute or like cardio pump. The weekend was like still like a light workout, maybe some cardio here and there, or like maybe I'll go for like a run or something like that. The third question is meals and macros, and what are my favorite exercises? This is my favorite one because this is just what I live by now currently. Water break, hold on. I don't really know why I made the question like meals and macros, because I didn't count macros. I don't know why I put that. But if we're talking like approximations and like guesstimates, I would just say like I aimed for like 40% carbs, 30% proteins, and like 20% fats. That was it. Now, the main portion of my plate when I do eat will always be protein. I've just been doing that for months at this point, and I've just seen so much benefit from my body with just eating mostly protein, having like a little bit of carbs, so like potatoes or something like that, and then like some veggies. That's it. What I started off eating was just like a lot of rice and beans, which I still eat rice and beans now, and like eggs with potatoes. My grandma used to make me eggs with plantains in the morning. She still does, even when I go visit back home. Eggs and tostones was what I ate. Honestly, like 90% of the time I had eggs and tostones. So, and then I would eat like an avocado on the side or like a tomato or something like that. So no protein shakes or anything like that. Even now I don't own like like protein or like for protein shakes and stuff. Also do want to put out, depending on what your goals are, you want to have a certain amount of something on your plate, right? So you want to get lean and you want to get toned. You want to make sure you have a lot of protein on your plate and like a little bit less fats and like carbs, right? You want the main star of your plate to be protein, especially when you're trying to lose weight, you're trying to lose fat. If you want to gain weight, carbs, fats, and high protein will always be a necessity, right? You want to gain weight, you want to gain muscle, you definitely need like more calorie intake and also just like heavy lifting. If you want to lose, low calorie intake, you want to be in a calorie deficit and high protein meals. So right now, what I do to maintain my body and what I eat, I deal with something that a lot of women deal with. It's called PCOS. This is not anything that's super strange or anything like that. It's polycystic ovarian syndrome. This is something that, like I said, like a lot of women have. It's very common. And I feel like I ended up getting this when I was a lot heavier. You guys can definitely do some more research on that if you'd like. This is something that I was diagnosed with months ago, and I kind of already figured that I had this because I went through a lot of the symptoms when I was like a teenager. However, certain foods can affect your PCOS more. Eating whole foods compared to eating junk foods and fast food will definitely improve your body with PCOS. Just want to put that out there. Right now, I eat nothing but whole foods. Sometimes I would go get like a coffee or something like that. However, that does not make up my entire diet. I only have a coffee when I want to treat myself, or I only have like junk food once in a while. Okay, so as far as proteins, what I eat right now is chicken, turkey, fish, eggs, and Greek yogurt. I kind of cut back on the Greek yogurt because I am lactose. Like the milk that's in it, it definitely upsets my stomach and makes me bloated. But for the chicken, make sure that it's grilled, or I eat chicken sausage a lot. For breakfast, sometimes I eat it with like some potatoes if like I don't really feel like cooking like a full intense meal. And like some broccoli or something. For turkey, I usually do ground turkey if I want to make like tacos or if I want to eat it with some pasta. I don't really eat pasta that much anymore, but I love ground turkey. It's great. You could do a whole bunch of stuff with it. Mix it with some rice or some potatoes and like broccoli or like some asparagus or something like that. Sometimes I would do deli turkey if like I'm in a rush and I need a meal for work. I do work like an 8-hour day, so if I can have like a turkey sandwich or something like that, that'll definitely like hold me, and it's still good for protein. So yeah. And then for breakfast, I eat a lot of turkey sausage patties with some eggs, and phenomenal. As far as fish, you need to be very careful. I live in Hawaii, so there's fish everywhere, fresh fish everywhere, which is a huge blessing. However, I did learn that for my age, I do have higher cholesterol, which is something that I have to be careful with when it comes to the raw fish. So like sushi or like poke, I need to cut back a little bit on that. So the fish that I do recommend, especially if you have PCOS, would be salmon, tuna, and like codfish. It's high in sodium, so make sure you are drinking water, but fish is amazing. Eggs, have some eggs like for breakfast. You can even eat eggs for like lunch or dinner. I've done that plenty of times. You're still getting your protein, and you honestly can never go wrong with eggs. And yeah, Greek yogurt. Like I said, I kind of cut back from eating Greek yogurt only because it's been hurting my stomach. Carbs, brown rice, jasmine rice, or quinoa. Potatoes, especially sweet potatoes. I love potatoes. I eat potatoes more than rice now, I feel. You can eat it with anything. You can eat it with chicken. You can eat it with turkey. You can eat it with fish. Like, it's a complex carb and they provide you energy. It doesn't make you feel bloated or too full. Like, I will live and die for potatoes. Like, yeah. Oats. I love oats. I pack oats all the time, especially for work. I do it with either coconut milk or pistachio milk, which is good for healthy fats. Pistachio milk, I know, like we've never heard of pistachio milk. It's great. It's a bit pricey, but I love it. Put a little bit of like natural peanut butter in it and some cinnamon. No sugar. I don't need any of that. And if I have some fruits, I'll put fruits in there. But yes. Like, just for carbs, like even just fruits, bananas, strawberries, apples, grapes, blueberries, like mangoes, great for some energy. You can never go wrong with fruits. Just be careful if you are like a diabetic or something like that, because some fruits can contain higher sugar content. But other than that, like if you want to have fruit over candy or processed snacks, that'll be perfect for you. And then healthy fats. A lot of people forget about healthy fats. I learned about healthy fats when I was super skinny and I really wanted to gain weight. So healthy fats were my best friend. I knew a nutritionist when I was going to the gym and they recommended me, which was kind of gross at the time, but they recommended me to make olive oil shakes. I did this for a little bit. I did gain weight, I will say that, but it was gross. I kind of just made like a fruit shake, like kind of like a milkshake in a way. Like I put some ice and some fruit, maybe like some yogurt or something like that in it, that like my grandparents had. And then I just poured olive oil in there and it was very interesting, but olive oil is great for healthy fats. You can never go wrong with olive oil. Even if like you are eating like a salad, drizzle some olive oil on top of it. You can gain weight from healthy fats, but it's always going to be healthy weight. In moderation, right? Like too much of something is never good, but olive oil, avocado oil, coconut oil, amazing for getting in your healthy fats. Any type of nuts like almonds, walnuts, cashews, pistachios are also great. Avocados, I eat avocados all the time. Hummus, when I make turkey sandwiches, instead of using like mayo, you can also use mustard too. Mustard's pretty good, but instead of like using mayo or mustard, I always put like hummus and then like turkey and like some cucumber, and it's amazing. Then the milks, I don't use dairy because I am lactose, but coconut milk. And lately I've been using pistachio milk and it is pretty interesting as well, but I actually really like it. So I've been using pistachio milk for my oats and pretty good. So for my favorite exercises, hip thrusts, of course. Like I love hip thrusts. I love everything about them. The science behind them. Your glutes grow so much when you do hip thrusts. Increasing the weight over time as well. Like it's like magic. Bulgarian split squats. I have a love-hate relationship for Bulgarian split squats. I hate doing them, but I see a lot of progress when I do Bulgarians. So, and RDLs, I like look forward to doing RDLs. I know that's like kind of weird to say because I don't think a lot of people can agree with that. And I stopped using like barbells for everything and I kind of started using dumbbells for stuff. I do dumbbell RDL. I do Bulgarians with the dumbbells. I also do like step ups with dumbbells. Sometimes I'll use the Smith machine for step ups, and like hip thrusts. Usually I use like the hip thrust machine in the gym or the barbell. So it really just depends. That's all for lower body. Now for upper body, my favorite workouts are hammer curls. I love doing back and bi. Like that is my favorite day in the gym. I say like screw glutes, screw lower body days. I love upper body. So hammer curls with the cable or just with dumbbells, like that is one of my favorites. I love lat pull downs as well. Ever since I started doing them and increasing the weight like over time, I just noticed like my lats, like they stick out so much, which I don't want my upper body to be too big, but I love that it's toned. My back, when I flex it, like you see all the muscles. For lat pull downs, I like close grip and neutral grip. Ever since I started doing the lat pull downs too, I am able to do pull-ups. So yeah, like I never thought I would see the day that I could do a pull-up, but I can now, so yeah. And some rows. I love doing rows as well. Like I said, back and bi is my favorite day now in the gym. It's like when women start from like doing glutes and like lower body every single day, there's so much more to life than just like glutes, you know? I might get some backlash for that, but whatever. I love upper body now. And then for cardio, I love jump roping now. That has become like a new big thing for me. Like I'll just like jump rope for like an hour. Not straight, of course, like sometimes like I'll mess up, but I do take like an hour for jump roping. And I love it. You start sweating, you feel the burn. Also for cardio, I started running for sure back in like 2023, I want to say. I was stationed on a ship, like I'm in the Navy, and we pulled in to this place like in California, and every morning like when we were there, I would just go for a run and like come back to the ship, and I think I would run like a total of like 3 miles, but that's when I first started back in 2023. So it's 2025 now, 2 years later, and I still love to run. And here in Hawaii, like there's a bunch of places to just run. I usually run on base, but You see runners like everywhere in Hawaii, and it's awesome. And then the last question was mental health, mindset, and step-by-step exercises. The hardest part, I think, of this entire journey was dealing with like mental health, and everybody goes through something. I feel like there's also like times where people just go through, which I've gone through it myself, like phases in life where they're just like not feeling motivated or they're not seeing progress and you just feel like you want to quit. And that couldn't be further from the truth. You just getting up and going to the gym and making that effort will just like unlock everything that your future holds, right? As far as like your fitness journey, there was weeks where I just felt like super bloated. I felt like I wasn't seeing no changes. I wanted to quit. I felt depressed at some point, you know? Gym ended up becoming like therapy for me. And I feel like that sounds so cheesy, but it's so true, especially like when you've been in that position. I was just able to release like all my stress and like anger out on like just lifting. I just knew that I was able to distract myself from like reality just for like a little bit, you know, like an hour or like 2 hours. I knew that like the time that I had to myself in the gym was for me, and I was able to like just take advantage of that. So yeah, like I know everybody goes through things in life and just like major setbacks in life too. Like that's something that's super normal, but it really is ultimately like up to you. You have to want it. You have to show up for yourself, and you have to be the one to give yourself that reality check. I just felt like from the gym, like I was so proud of myself. I knew that like I was working towards specific goals and I was just growing, and I could see that. I just felt so proud. It was always a constant battle between my body and my mind, and I feel like this is something that is super relatable for a lot of people, right? Like you just gotta fight it, and eventually it would become like second nature to you, but in the beginning it is difficult, and I do understand that. Everything is about discipline. That being said, like going to the gym and lifting, that's the easy part, right? Like I mean, maybe it might take a lot for you to get up and go, but the real thing is about the nutrition and the diet. Gym, 20%, nutrition and diet, 80%. Once you get your nutrition and your diet right, you will start seeing progress. So that's why you need to fight your temptation when it comes to eating and your food and the diet that you take in, because that will make or break your progress. I always told myself consistency wins, not motivation. So as for step-by-step workouts, I would start with a compound lift. This would be something like squats or hip thrusts. Second, I would do like a second heavy movement, so like RDL. And then I would definitely finish with isolated stuff, so like hip abductions or like some leg extension or leg curls. You could pretty much like add whatever you want, but just make sure like you have compound movements in there. So you want to make sure you have a thrust movement, you want to have a squat movement, you want to have an abduction movement, and then you can throw like anything else in there. And then always make sure that you do like 3 to 4 sets. Start off with just like 3 by 10, 3 sets of 10, and that's it. Now I do like 4 by 12, or I'll do like 4 by 15, however you want to do it. I always made sure that I stretch, because that will also benefit your body in the long run. You always want to make sure that you're stretching, you're like warming up, and you're loosening up a lot of those muscles that you're working out on a consistent basis. And that honestly just concludes our video of me like just addressing those topics. I really hope that you guys benefit from this video. I really hope that you guys enjoyed it. I have a huge shipment coming in on Monday of gym clothes that I ordered. They're more or less like the same kind of clothes, but let me know if you guys would like to see like a haul or like a try on haul. I want to give you guys a huge thank you for just like recommending me to just post this. This has been a long time coming, and if I can help one person start a fitness journey or a fitness transformation, then why not? I have a huge passion in just living a healthy lifestyle. I'm trying to also like currently go to school for health and exercise sciences. So like I said, this is a passion of mine, and if I can help somebody, then that would just make me super happy. So yeah, I'm gonna sign off now. I will let you guys know when I post the next video. Thank you guys so much, and I hope you guys have a great day. Bye.